Hello, this is Helen.
And Naomi.
And we are about to start day 2 of the Druids Challenge.
Hey.
Yay! Yesterday was 48 kilometres.
29 miles.
On the Ridgeway. Today is 46, I think, kilometres. Something like that.
27, 28 miles.
And you are listening to the Tea and Trails podcast
with your hosts,
Eddie Sutton and
Gary Thwaites. Have heavy flex, Gary.
Heavy flex, breathe and believe, keep your shield high. We love you guys.
Don't think, just swallow.
Hello and welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast. A lovely intro from Helen and Naomi, recorded at the start of day 2 on the Druids Challenge. Big miles and smiles for Helen and Naomi. Solid advice too, Eddie. Don't think, just swallow.
I have that as a car sticker.
Please keep those intros coming. Email them to hello@teaandtrails.com.
Thank you always goes first to our patrons. We see you and we appreciate these. Don't take these as empty words. Feel free to come and get free hugs at the running show. Gary's a hugger. I'm assistance piece.
I'm straight in with hugs. No boundaries for Gary.
No boundaries. Hands on the ball, Gary. Don't forget, if you want a snood or a bubble hat, then you need to add your address to Patreon. No address, no goodies. Also, join Patreon for a year and you save 10% on your membership. And if you join the Legend tier or above, we'll send you a bubble hat too.
Thanks to X Miles, Precision Fuel and Hydration, Harrier Trail Running and Phoenix Light UK for sponsoring this week's show. X Miles is a family-owned, independent endurance sport retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at their best. X Miles offers a wide range of high quality products from leading brands, and their team of nutrition experts, cyclists, runners and outdoor enthusiasts can provide expert advice and guidance to help you reach your goals. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started, X Miles is the perfect place to find everything you need to succeed. Fancy trying some new products? Well, you might want to check out X Miles monthly nutrition box. New fuel every month. It's the easiest way to try fresh products and flavours at below normal prices. Buy a one-off box for $13.99 plus $2.99 shipping, or subscribe for 10% off at £12.59 per month. Free shipping. You got vegan options available. 8 products in every box. No duplicates within 6 months. No hidden fees. Skip a month and cancel anytime. I have the nutrition box with me, Eddie. Which items? I can talk you through. Which items would you like? You've got the choice.
This is sensational podcasting. This is why we are the top hitting.
Top of the charts. Okay. Cliff shot blocks.
Yes, I love those.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes to everything.
Eddie's pile.
You've already, because he's already taken out what he wants.
No, I'll show you all 8. You've got the Boom Bar. I think this is the
I have
caffeine
that.
one. All right. You only get to say 4. Do you want the Active Root Sports Energy drink?
No.
No? Okay, I'll have that one.
Gary's your perfect friend because he's just a dustbin. He'd be like, yeah, I'll have that.
This is 25 grams of carb. It's Carbs Fuel Original.
25 grams of carb. No, wouldn't bother getting my lips around that. I don't get my lips around anything less than 60.
Oh, this looks interesting. You've got a Pro Bar, Go Energy Bar, mixed berry. Fancy that?
What's the ingredients?
Oh, this is terrible. I can't go through all the ingredients on the podcast.
Well, no, I'd probably say no.
In the maybe pile. Well, what else is there here? It's all going on. Oh, we've got 22 6s high fructose gel. Do you want to go for that one?
Yeah, what are we looking for carb-wise?
30 grams of carb. You got 140 milligrams of sodium.
30 grams of carb, like just give me 60.
In a gel, that would be like the size of a carrier bag. We've got 2 electrolyte drinks. You got one by True Fuels and you got one by Cadence.
I think I'm more of a True Fuel girl.
Okie dokie. There you go. You've got those 4. They're for me.
I'm not sure this needs to go in the podcast.
Listeners can get 10% store credit at www.xmiles.co.uk via the link in the show notes. And pop over to YouGoGo Projects if you would like an awesome Tea and Trails cap. And don't forget, patrons receive 20% off. Also, all you lovely listeners can enjoy 10% off with the code T10. If you're looking for all of the discount codes, then head over to Patreon, teaandtrails.com, or check out the show notes where you will find our link tree. Also, stick around to the bitter end if you want to be in with a chance of winning an awesome Phoenix head torch.
I have a question. Listeners, Gary, every time I wear my Phoenix head torch, I love it, but it gives me, sometimes we record, don't we, when I've just come in with my head torch and I have this red
Signature
on my forehead because I like it really tight. I don't like any movement. And I'm not wearing it. I've got my cap on.
Yeah.
You're all just going to say you got it on too tight, haven't you, Eddie?
I put a buff. Sometimes
yeah,
I
but
put
I
a
get
buff
too
on.
hot then. I get too hot with the buff. It's tricky, isn't it? So maybe I need to add a little bit of padding underneath it.
Oh, a little modification.
I was going to say circumcise it a bit. That's not the right word, is it? What's the word?
Customize.
Oh, don't get those two mixed up. Go into a shop.
I was listening to as research for a guest that's coming up on the podcast. They said the word maceration.
And did you?
Rhymes with.
Oh, Gary, Dad's still listening. He doesn't like this dirty chat.
You started it.
I know. I can't help myself. We've just had an hour of admin.
Whoa.
An hour of admin.
delete, reply.
Where Gary just does the admin and I just drink tea. It's the best. How you feeling?
Northern Traverse vibes. I'm feeling good. My Garmin was frothing last week. I've been productive, peaking. We'll gloss over the couple of days I've been strained. I'm maintaining now. But why I feel a little bit better about the Northern Traverse, I think I mentioned last week, I'm missing a bit of trail specificity. And I had a good 5.5 hours on the moors on Sunday. Was that too long, though? We will be talking about how long should your long run be at the end of the episode. Got a jacket question, Eddie. We chatted just before we recorded. Because of finances, poor Rexy cost me a fortune. Self-assessment is looming.
Do you? Now, I have a sneaky, because I got stung with the self-assessment last year, and I put aside, I have a separate self-assessment bank account, and it automatically puts the money in so that it's there at the end of the year because I have no self-control.
It's there. I just don't want to give it to the...
I haven't done it yet. How many weeks? We've got 2 weeks.
Well, this is the one.
Well, I'm giving them money. They can earn extra credit on it. So I'm not giving them till the last
Well, this is
minute.
why they charge you. This is lots of self-assessment chat, sorry. But this is why you have to pay on advance because in effect you get interest-free credit on your tax. If you earn over a certain amount of money, you have to put some in the pot for the future year. But it's funny because I can understand why people do these tax avoidance schemes. I lean to the left. I think it's safe to say my politics. So I should be quite embracing tax. It pays for all the things that we enjoy as a lovely country. But wow, I still don't want to hand it over.
Why does it feel so bad to hand? I do think the French have a better system where you do it every 3 months and then it's just like, but you pay a lot more tax. Anyway, we've got to make, that Gore-Tex. So the Gore-Tex waterproof is quite, and for January, it's a big outlay, isn't it?
Well, it is, I've been looking at a few and I think you're looking at least 200 quid up, possibly 350, the two that I've got
and
my eye on.
If you're thinking like, if you were going on a journey to go like, well, I'm going to do Northern Traverse and I'm possibly going to do Winter 200, then I'm going to do Spine, like this is my future in the running world, you'd be like, that jacket is going to, if you're doing the Spine, like that jacket is going to be on for most of the Spine.
All of my jackets meet the minimum kit requirements. So my thoughts currently are, if it is going to be spicy weather forecast for that week, have a few extra jackets in. I could carry one. So if the weather really did turn, I could double up my layers on the waterproofness and have some in the drop bags because, you're not going to really give a proper chance to dry things out over the length of the race. So have some dry options in your drop bag too. I just can't stomach. I'm not kidding myself. I've got Altkit, Montaigne open in my browsers. I'll have made a purchase before the end of the day. But it's a little too far. I don't know how you're feeling. It's looming, but it's too far away to be properly panicking. Although I did have a day on the moors and I appreciated that. I would love, and I don't care where it is, I would love a proper recce day on route.
There's nothing like putting your feet on the path you're actually going to tread on the race to make you feel physically sick. And how the hell? I had a few messages from Lucy Gossage, who was out shouting at Spine races over the weekend, and she was like, I don't know how we did it, Eddie. It's just horrendous because when you're not in it, when you're in it, honestly, you can't imagine not being in it because you're in it, and you're so focused, and that's you go, you work when you volunteered, you got that little bubble. When you're not in it and you do recce, sometimes you're like, I only did 15 miles. Oh my God. And there's another.
Yeah. I'm struggling with the recce's though. I don't know if you found this, that all of my mates are training for races that are a lot shorter than the Northern Traverse. So their speeds and paces. I need a different friend group, temporarily at least. I'm just sucking it up. I'm going with the pace. I'm trying to hold back a bit just to kind of slow the pace down a little bit. But I knew on Saturday when I was out with Justin, he was half-stepped me for 5.5 hours basically. And I was trying to just stretch that elastic just to slow him down a bit. So I'm always moving a lot quicker than what I would race day. So I've got no barometer.
I doubt any of those spine racers were ever moved at spine race pace that they're going now. Like it's a different ball game, isn't it?
But the alternative is solo days, which there's a benefit to that because you're going to have a lot of solo miles during the race. I think
you do need a couple of big days solo to get like in your head, to give yourself the time to like faff with kit, sort your kit, be out there, meet your mate. I tried to sell it to Lisa that, Lisa, you drop me off at the Lions Inn and then you drive to Robin Hood's Bay and have a lovely loads of cafes, lovely little shops.
And I'll see you 7 hours later, basically.
Yeah, that one wasn't so...
I asked her at the wrong time. She was nodding off last night.
Oh, Gary.
Danger zone.
I'm really excited about it now. I'm kind of like, I can't go in going, I am going to do amazing. I'm going to smash it. I'm going to race everybody because I've got to get round. Nobody wants another vomiting DNF story. Everybody is, we've peaked on those now. Our numbers have peaked on those. We need a new story. So I want to rewrite a different story. And if that means setting off slower, getting the fuel in, that is going to be my journey. So that takes a little bit of the anxiety. But I am very anxious that even with that, it could turn. I just don't know. So
I think we're both going to be super scared on that start line. Just waiting.
You'll be scared of the distance, and I'm going to be scared of the Vom bus and whether I'm going to get on it. We all get on it at some point in these long races. But if I can just sit on it for a little while and then, get off at the next stop, that's what I'm really hoping for.
Fingers crossed.
How did you survive the cold weather? Did you get a snowman built? Did you get any snow? You didn't seem to, because you were still out running miles while I was going,
we didn't get snow like you did.
You didn't get snow.
Oh no, it did snow, but not like you guys did. It was very pleasant on the trails. There was one day when it thawed out a little bit and then it became really treacherous. But lots of miles on the treadmill. I did all of my sessions as such on the treadmill. So Monday was the treadmill hike, then I did the spinning, watched Ozark on this is like, in the one episode that I watched, you have kidnap, you've got money laundering, entrapment and body disposal.
I told you Netflix throw all their money in the first episode. Is that the first episode?
No, this is like season 3, I think.
Wow.
So I can only cope with Ozark if I'm doing a treadmill hike. I need some content, like when you're actually doing a session. I don't want comedy because I don't want to start laughing.
Well, I've got a few suggestions.
Sports documentary.
I did a lot. Well, have you watched all the kids love the Six Nations rugby one? Oh my God.
That'd be right in my street.
Oh yeah, watch that. And they love it because there's a lot of French in it. So they feel quite at home. And they just love, because they obviously, they see themselves like, they see their thighs are like pretty similar to my mum, these little skinny little runts. But I was just thinking that because I did a lot of treadmill miles last week, and I'm a sucker, Gary, because I get on the treadmill and I refuse to run anything slower than an 8-minute mile on the treadmill because it's so boring. I'm like, I just want to run these miles and get it done. So if I want to go out running with the dogs or out on the trails, I will happily run an 11-minute mile around the fields to ease my poor old lady legs in. But on the treadmill, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just so first mile, my legs are like, But I did a lot of YouTube watching. So I thought if people do treadmill, cross training, whatever, you want some good stuff to watch on. This is all running sports related because I find it hard to watch films or anything with a storyline when you're running. So Sally McRae has started a new YouTube video. She's doing one every week. It's really good, following her journey back from injury. Though
she pumps out some content.
She has been injured injured for a year with a really serious knee injury, and she's going back now to run 100 miles with it. And I'm like, oh my God, where that pressure's coming from. Tara Dower's FKT on the long trail. This is incredible. It's an hour, perfect. Watching someone else proper smash themselves while you're smashing yourself. I think there is nothing better. And David Roach's videos. Have you watched any of those? They are.
I like the content, but the energy just doesn't.
Yeah, the energy, but some of the race ones are really good because there's a lot of footage of the race, which I really like. I would basically so I have to have an iFit subscription with my treadmill, which I never use, but it has loads of videos that you can run with people.
Okay.
But I would just like to follow like David Roach's legs or I'm not fussy on whose legs they are. I love Lucy's legs, anybody's legs. Bryn's legs would be my top fave there. A little bit sweaty, a little bit glistening, bit of mud on, and then I could just watch that video of them running Northern Traverse.
I've been watching lots of Premier League football, and the men have shaved their legs. Is that a thing in trail running too? Shave legs?
Is it? Do you want to start it? You're a sort of trailblazer of.
I just wonder if that because I know with triathlon and cyclists.
Don't suggest that to my boys. They'll be.
Full body.
I'll find my razor. Full body.
I can't do the YouTube though because it burns my data and I'm too tight.
Exactly, you're a teenager, and Lisa's like cut you off after a while.
Parental control.
What sessions did you do on the treadmill?
Well, I didn't know. I did another week of the steady runs. So 2 basically 10-mile steady runs. And one of those was the Monster Tuesday. So like same as last week, 22 miles in total for the day with 10 miles at steady. I was super tired still from Sunday's run. So in my head, I had to chunk it down.
How did you do that? Did you go like 2 miles, 2 miles?
No, it was just when the pressure built a little bit too much. The first thing I did was drop incline by 0.5%, and then I slowed it down a bit. So normally when I do this 10-mile run, ever so slowly, have this cardiac drift, so it doesn't go crazy.
Yeah. Well, you just get hot.
Yeah, so as opposed to that, I think basically I got myself into the right zone, and then when I dropped the incline and slowed it down a bit, my heart rate was steady, so I didn't have the drift. I was still in the correct effort. I just needed to give myself a little bit of a mental break for that workout. The other one was on Thursday, and I was setting myself up a treat for this one because I didn't do the dog jog, I didn't run to the gym and back, I drove to the gym, I popped on my Vaporflies. Oh my goodness me. For a little bit more recovery, I felt incredible. And I'm convinced the people to the left and the right were checking out my display to see what miles I was pinging off.
Oh my God, I'm surprised they weren't like screenshotting you, videoing your legs. They probably were. You just couldn't see through your film of sweat.
I did my 2 strength sessions. Should have been 3, but after Saturday's run, I was pooped, so I tapped out. Only did the 2. I think on the plan it only ever says do 2, but because I always like to beat the plan, I try and do
also the
3.
plan doesn't set the strength work that you're doing. I'm pretty sure John doesn't do big lifting. He's doing like little...
You know, I just completely ignore what
you do.
What John suggests. No strides again. I mentioned it last week. I want to do strides, but this week it's just been super slippery on the trails.
Yeah, tricky. Yeah, really tricky.
So I gave myself a pass. What about you?
I did lots of steady running, as I said, on the treadmill. So I did my strides, but I did those on the one day where it was not dry, but it wasn't icy. So I did do my strides, but I did my biggest session, and I didn't get to do it until Sunday in the way that the long run fell and then the consequent fallout from the long run. So then a session on Sunday when you've got all those miles in your legs in a full week, it was my legs starting it off with. I thought, oh my God, I'm not sure I can do it. I went out. The kids were it was quite early on Sunday morning. Half the kids were asleep. Some of them were awake. And I went out and they all came out and started arguing and playing darts. And I was like, in what world do you think, come on, guys, let's all go out and then have a huge argument about the darts? So it was huge, big session, felt stronger as I went on, which is always a great way to handle the session. But it was a big session. I kept going. After each one, I was only giving myself 1 minute. I was like, I'll take my gel. And then I just didn't really feel like it. And so I was sort of gaslighting myself, going, I'll take it the next one, take it the next one. Anyway, I did eventually get it down, and I actually felt really good. I had a look back I started doing these uphill sessions beginning of December. Now we're in the middle of January, and I look back at my pace. I did double the effort at half a mile an hour quicker. Definitely feel stronger.
What is your effort, Eddie? Because this is like 12 times 5 minutes. It's a monster.
Well, I didn't read the set because I never want people to go, I never want people to feel that what they do is not.
No, you do you. It's fine.
Okay. So the effort is just below where the lactate kicks in, basically.
The dream zone.
So it's my absolute favourite zone. So you got right frothy sweat on, but you feel like you look like Paula Radcliffe because you're running really strong, and you can just work through it because it's really. But I only give myself 1 minute rest now that I'm quite fit because my heart rate comes down because I'm not just quite reaching that zone. We talk about the free heartbeats we get when you do a hard rate and you stand off the treadmill and you still get 40 seconds. My heart rate comes down within 20 seconds. It's down. Yeah. And then I start getting cold because it's -6. So I was just giving myself 1 minute and then building the heart rate back up. And that showed as well that I was in the exact right place because I was able to do that and I was able to run them all really strong. I did my maths a bit wrong, so I thought it finished at 1 hour 15 and I thought I'm done. And then I was like, no, if it's 60 minutes worth of work plus the recoveries plus the warm-up, Eddie, you've got another 2 to go. I could have been sad, but I wasn't. I just was watching spine dots thinking, come on, Eddie, you can do this. Got off the treadmill, immediately had to get kids ready. We had sports stuff. And that is why I don't really like to do workouts when then I have a busy day because I just felt horrendous. I had to go then into a sports hall for the rest of the day. It was really loud. The lighting is horrible. There was nowhere to sit down. So I was hanging over the balcony with my legs going, oh my God, my legs. And then just trying to find food and protein all day. Sorry, is your dog, does it need its back leg? Because I really need some protein right now.
I'll have a look at that. I might give that a go actually. And I
built up to that. So I've been doing, you don't just jump on the bandwagon with 12 by 5.
Yeah, but this is where you lean into past experience because I'm doing the maths. That's like you said, an hour of effort. And it's at that sub threshold, although there's no elevation in my steady runs. My 10-mile steady.
It's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? I just get a nice break.
You get the vert too.
I go at 8% because I find 10%, I love the grind of 10%, but I find I'm not running as for 8% that can still run quite fast. Fast. It's not fast. 5%, I don't think I get that strength workout. I have to run faster than I want to fast because this is all for me is about being the older athlete. It's all about injury prevention as well. That's why I do it uphill. And normally I can walk away from those sessions feeling relatively unscathed and I feel okay the next day. I think I felt so beaten up after this because of my long run exploits. So because I knew the weekend was going to be a write-off with the kids, I'd made a day where I didn't have any calls and I could get out all morning for my long run. That day dawned, Gary, and the whole of Scotland was covered in this most horrendous black ice. Even the track, which we run to get to the hills, which is not wet, it's always dry because it's gravelly, was total black ice. But I had my spikes with me and I just really wanted to get out. I want to get out in the hills. I didn't want to be on the treadmill anymore, but I should have. So I was I don't know what to do. I was teetering around. Anyway, ran out into the hills and actually to get to the hills I have to cross a road and the road was the best bit of running that I did for the whole long. I should have just run on the road. But I got a few funny drivers in the snow don't like then adding a runner into the mix as well. They're like, oh my God, I have to come off this line of cleared snow. Anyway, got up into the hills and it was so icy. Now, I've done a ton of running. I ran for 10 years for 4 months a year on snow and ice, so really super used to it. It's a different ball game because in the Alps, obviously where we were, we had a base underneath, so you did sometimes pothole through the snow, especially when you potholed through the snow, often it was then quite soft. Anyway, I had to put my spikes on. As I put my spikes on, I bought the size small ones out, which are too small for my trainer, so they slightly bend the trainer, so they're really uncomfortable and they squish my toes. But I honestly wouldn't have been able to go along any of this without the spikes on. It would have been lethal. Put them on and then everything hurt because it was scrunching up my waterproof sock underneath the ball of my foot, so it was rubbing. Oh, it was really sad. I kept ringing Bryn, who was trying to work, going, oh, that's so rubbish. I had this 20-mile loop in mind, so I was setting out on that. That's what I wanted to do. Treating along. So eventually got up sort of on the higher hills and it was better going, running along, when suddenly I went through the track. It felt like I fell through through the track. One foot went down to my knee, and then I put the other foot to go like forward, and the other foot went down to the knee. So basically I went from like running along to like down into the ice. I smashed forward onto my, thank God I didn't have my poles in my hands, smashed forward onto my knee so hard, onto like really hard ice. I smashed so hard on the ground, my Garmin then set off its emergency alert.
Again, wow.
And I know, last time, if you don't remember, listeners, it set off when we played the bagpipes at the top of a Monroe. Poor Bryn was like, I'm getting in the car because I didn't hear it. I'm coming. Anyway, it went off and I was in such pain. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't I had my mittens on and I couldn't because I was like lying there going, I honestly thought, this is not being dramatic. You know me, I'm not dramatic. I thought I'd smashed my kneecaps. I was like, I've just smashed it. It was so painful. I was just lying on my side. Anyway, I got to turn my watch to go, and then it says send a message to say you're okay. So I sent the message, but then I was really worried that he was going to think, oh my God, what's happened? Yeah. And the murderer has just sent the message off her phone to go, she's okay. Well, he's like bludgeoning me to death. So I was trying to find my phone anyway.
That's like a murderer who actually knows how to work a Garmin watch.
Yeah, always, yeah. They always had to work the Garmin. Anyway, I got myself and I didn't have the dogs with me, so I didn't even have a little doggy to have a cuddle with, because whenever you fall over with the dogs, they always come up, don't they? And they're like, what are you doing on the floor? So I sort of sat there, and then Katie Carr's Sabre saying she always, whenever I fall over, I always think of her, because when we had a big crash when we were on our skis once, we always have a snack. If you have a big fall and you feel horrible, get the calories up. So I had a little sack. I rang Bryn to say, I'm fine, but I'm really sore. And I've ripped my leggings and my knees really hurt. And I was like, did you get loads of alerts? And he's like, no, my phone's in the other room. It's charging. He didn't even care. Anyway, I got up, Gary, pleased to hear. I took a picture of the holes to show everybody, and they don't look nearly as impressive. And I jogged on. But then the rest of the run up in the hills, I spent every time, I turned off my music so that I could hear the ice cracking. And every time I landed on something that could have been a puddle, and it went, I was like, it was horrible.
Filled you with fear, yeah, my goodness.
I've been so looking forward to this long run, and it was just horrible. And I kept stopping because my spikes, oh my God, it was just, I was so disappointed. Then I got to the top and there's a left and a right. I couldn't say anything because of the clag. And I was like, I think the track, I take the left-hand track. I came off too early, basically, and ended up on the road back home and missed out 4 miles. And then I decided baby Jesus has a funny way of saying, do you know what? Get your spikes off.
The message.
I got back to cut cross country back home. I couldn't even get up the track to cut cross country because of the ice. Like just this normal, like it was just impossible to even get up the little bit. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to go on the road all the way home. Yeah. And people hated me. Oh my God, did they hate me? Anyway, ended up 2 very black knees. I had like ice scrapes up my quads. I broke my little finger again. I've broken it many times. And I showed it to you this morning. Bryn's like, you need to go and show this professional.
It's wild how, thankfully you're okay with some bruises and your bit of dignity lost. But it could have been so different.
Could have cracked in it. Honestly, falling over when you're an older person is a horrible experience. And the next day I was so sore, like my thighs were sore, my knees were sore. Yeah. Do you think that's why the treadmill I felt quite bad off the treadmill? Because I do think like when you hit the ground that hard, and then I think the rest of the run, I was like a tense little... Yeah. I don't know what animal I would describe myself as, but I still got it done. I didn't get as many miles as I wanted to, but I got home and because I kept thinking, if this happened in a race, I would have to carry on. This isn't race ending. I would just have to like take my fingers up and get on with it. So I was kind of like get into that mindset, bit of reality training, as I was telling myself, but it was a bit disappointing to be honest. So there's my trauma, everybody. And then Gary went on a lovely long run with his mate eating chocolate.
We had an early drive to Saltburn, and because the weather was on the limit of what I feel comfortable driving in.
Oh, okay.
So I packed do you ever do this? Do you have a car bar?
A car bar?
So it's basically, in this instance, it was Tunnocks and toffee crisps. So I've got lots of snacks in the car. No matter what the mode of transport, I'll take some fuel, but it's got to rhyme with the mode of transport. So if you're on a train, it could be a chow mein. If you're on a bus, couscous.
Yeah. Have you ever taken couscous on a boat?
I've never. You could have a lovely curried goat on a boat.
Oh no!
If you're in a Pavlova Land Rover.
Oh my God, you've blown my mind. I just remembered something else about the goat, about my long run. So when I got back up from my fall, Gary, and I started running again, sorry to talk more about me, there was a dead horse's head in the middle of the track.
Shit, it's like a mafia situation.
Just the head. There was no blood. It was totally frozen.
That's not even funny.
I looked down and I saw like the ears and the hair, and I just screamed and I was like, oh! And I just ran away. I was like, that is really freaky.
That's
Why would that be there?
You kind of expect the odd sheep now and
Sheep
again.
heads, there's always a dead sheep somewhere around here. There's a dead deer, there's a leg of something. In the mountains, we used to find terrible bits of bodies, and the dogs would appear with like the leg of something that they would have found in the underwood. This is weird. Why would there be a horse carcass? It was horrible, Gary. Sorry. So the trauma of this race continues to live.
See, I was trying to lighten the mood with
Sorry,
my,
you're trying to with your snacks, your car
apple
bar.
pie and a Qashqai, but you're talking about seven. Got to have one more. Fondue in a canoe. There we go. Come on.
Plane. What are you taking on a plane?
You could have chow mein again on a plane.
Oh, I wouldn't want to have chow mein again after I took that on a plane.
Motorhome, you could have a Toblerone. That's another good.
Love a Toblerone. There's still one in the cupboard. Every time I open the cupboard to get the pasta out,
You could have some lovely soft cheese on if you're on some skis. Anyway, my run was a lovely Saltburn, Hardmoors Saltburn Marathon recce again. Recce number 2 of this route. Messed up some of the nav that I got right last time and got some of the nav right that I got wrong last time.
Do you not have the GPX? How are you messing up the nav?
Well, you just overshoot a junction.
Because you're running too fast. And you're not.
Of course not. 2 blokes. Testosterone. So I do need to go back.
Oh
I
my
would
God.
like...
You recce routes more than I have hot dinners, I tell you.
This marathon is 1st or 2nd of February, so I'm not too sure if I'm going to actually get to do another recce. But it's the phrase that I've learned from you. It's not something I'd heard before. The Bluebird Day.
You're getting in with the skiers on the Bluebird Day. So you have snow, and then the next day it's clear and beautiful.
It was basically like, I think I did the spine race on Saturday.
I reckon you would have won the spine race on Saturday.
It's super hard going though. When you've got, and we only had maybe shin deep at the most snow in the worst places. But wow, you're not running any faster, but your heart rate is definitely a few beats
it's so
higher.
hard, isn't it?
But luckily, we, unlike the people who I've seen some quite spicy videos from people on the spine race, we didn't have any other elements to contend with. It was completely still. So we had just blue skies, white views for miles and miles and miles. There was an inversion, and we had fish and chips in Saltburn too. 2 of us there. We just steamed up the windows outside the chippy in Saltburn. Incredible. Yeah, really good day. And there is a price to pay for a 5.5 hour run. Justin was probably running a little bit too quick for me on those miles. My heart rate was, I think, average beats 120 beats a minute, so it wasn't particularly high as an average, but there was some elements where if I'm running that on Northern Traverse, I'm either going to win the race or I'm burning all the matches.
I love that. I'm going to get you that on a T-shirt.
But yeah, couldn't complain. Long run. Apart from, I think 5.5 hours is a stretch for me. That's the upper echelons of where I want to be honest, for a long run. 2 days at home, boys alone. And what do boys at home do? World War II movie on the sofa.
Which one did you go for? Because
it's called Number 24. About some Norwegian saboteurs.
It's always about Norwegians. Everyone that goes on, every time I go out, Bryn is educating the boys on, and they're so long. They're so long, and they're always...
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think these guys, they got, I don't think they were members of the SAS, but there was I'm sure I saw an SAS badge on his uniform at the very end of the film. So there's definitely some, I don't know if the SAS helped train them or something like that, but these guys, wow, they disrupted the Germans pretty good in Norway. Anything else? I entered Malaga Marathon, a bit of sunshine for the end of 2026, and
you won't buy a decent jacket to save your life on the
experiences,
Northern Traverse,
Eddie. I'm buying experiences. But this opens up, although I've been really resistant.
Yeah, because it's in November this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's moved pretty much a month forward. Since last year, I thought about the Cheviot goat that had kind of popped on my radar. And conveniently, I thought Malaga was too close to the Cheviot goat. And it is still, if you're kind of thinking about doing a command performance. But I think a month is enough time to do it and have a blast on the trail. So maybe, yeah, that's a pretty solid end to 2026 is Malaga Marathon and then GV8 Go 2. This is fantastic news for the week, actually. I mentioned about a month ago about prostate cancer test. So I had the results back and thankfully it is all clear. I was annoyed. I don't know if this is protocol, but I had to call the doctors to get my results.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal.
Well, last time I had a test I thought I was type 1 diabetic, similar symptoms for the
Similar
wing.
to the fact you had a prostate cancer as well.
Well, they called me up last time and I had to go back in, which I was terrified about because they called me up to go back into the doctors, but they wouldn't give me any more information than that. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness me. But I think that was because the doctor then wanted to stick his finger up my bum and check my prostate.
He's only human.
When he's done he'd already done it, so he didn't need to do it. So yeah, it's wonderful news. And what do you think I did to celebrate?
Is this the dirty version or the... What did you ate something inappropriate, definitely, and watched something. What did you do?
I took a little detour and went straight to the co-op and smashed a bag of sugary donuts. It was like an orgy of sugary.
Oh my God. What, a whole bag of donuts?
I had 2 then, and then I had 1 in the evening. George and I shared the rest of the bag. But I wasn't being a total glutton. That was my pre-fuel for my 10-mile steady on the treadmill.
We all know that sugary donuts, X Miles are always offering those.
Yeah, that's not in the nutrition box, is it? I still have the symptoms. So this is a mystery. The journey does continue. It's not over with yet, but it's, my goodness me, anybody who has this kind of test and waiting for those kind of results is a big weight off their shoulders.
Yeah, we're so pleased. We're so pleased, especially as we've signed contracts for sponsorship for a year. It makes things a lot simpler.
I'm loving traitors. No spoilers.
Loving traitors. Loving it.
But does it not make you worry about humanity? People go on there and they say they know everything. I can deceive people, blah, blah, blah. And then ultimately it boils down to complete guesswork. And then, which is what I do think happens in life, it basically becomes a popularity contest. And the larger group with the loudest voice controls the narrative. And I see that playing out politically, worldwide. So from that point, I do find it quite depressing, but oh my goodness me, I'm shouting.
If you're quiet, you're suspect. If you're slightly different, you're suspect.
Well, if you're too loud, you're suspect.
If you're too loud, you're suspect. You have to play the middle game. You'd be really good at this. I would get voted off very quickly, I think.
Your poker face
I would just
would
be
rubbish.
hilarious. I would just find everything really funny. And
would you be a
far
traitor
too
or a
loud.
faithful? I'd have to be a faithful.
Well, they all wanted to be traitors, didn't they? They all knew how to play the game. They all want the airtime, don't they? If you want to be a traitor. The thing is, if you're a traitor, you've got to play all day. You've got that cortisol. Every time we watch it, Bryn would be like, where would you fit your running in? Is this what, like, would they be like, what time are you starting filming? Can I have a break now? I've got 40 minutes. Should we go? It'd be great if we'd go together because we'd be like,
that'd be one of those
minutes. Quick,
montages,
Gary.
Eddie. You'd be doing the run.
But all those challenges as well, I would absolutely. They were in quite nice stuff, and I'd always be like full lycra heart rate. You'd be on, you'd have your heart rate monitor on, and we'd be like, "Is this a running related?" Great. I don't need any of you guys. Just wait there. I'll bring everything back. You're slowing me down.
I'd be there waiting for satellites.
We're loving it. We're loving the traitors. Haven't really watched anything else apart from endless YouTube as we tried to survive last week. But the weather is, I'm looking out over the hills now. Oh God, I don't know what to do about my long run to go back and see it snow. Now it's cleared a bit. There is snow, probably 300 meters higher than us. Do I venture back out into the death? Yeah. If anything, it makes great content. Break another bone. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we're getting there, Gary. We're ticking off the weeks and moving forward. And I've got I've got busy rest of January and February training now. Just got to keep consistent, and we keep on ticking off those sessions.
Chipping
no
away.
heroics. Chip.
Yeah. I really struggle with my hands, especially at the end of runs. It used to only happen in winter, but now it's happening in summer too. At UTS 50, despite the warm weather, I wore winter gloves the whole way and my hands still never warmed up. I think it might be Raynaud's. After a run or even just walking, the blood drains from my fingers. They turn white, go completely lifeless and become very painful. I've even cried mid-run because they hurt so much. The worst part is that I can't use my hands properly when it happens. I can't drink, check my phone, press my watch, open a gel, anything. I'm nearly 51 and it's been getting worse every year since my mid-40s. It's now affecting everyday life too. Even holding the dog's lead on walks is becoming difficult. Is there anything at all that might help other than wearing endless layers of gloves? I'd really appreciate any advice. Thanks, Naomi Lunn. Oh my goodness me, this is incredibly tough. I'm a Raynaud sufferer and I suppose everybody's probably different how they deal with it. I just, like Naomi said, I just layer up.
Yes, so as you say, Gary, it's a common condition that lots of people do suffer from, and it affects people sort of in varying degrees of severity as well. So it sounds like Naomi's obviously suffering quite badly with it, and it's exactly as she describes. It's a change in blood supply to extremities, fingers particularly, in response to temperature changes. So when it gets colder. And then it becomes painful again when the blood returns. So it can be colour change, but also then very painful and affects the use of her hands as she's described. Essentially, preventing that temperature change from happening is the main treatment. So keeping your hands as warm as possible and anticipating it earlier than other people would need to anticipate that as well, which sounds like exactly what she's doing. It can be associated in a number of people with other underlying conditions. So we suggest when people, particularly people who have an onset of it later on in life, you would want to do some blood tests just to make sure there's nothing else going on. Even things like thyroid problems, but more commonly things like rheumatological conditions, types of connective tissue disorders, as we call them, things that affect joints, skin, bones, those sorts of things. Different types of conditions can be associated with Raynaud. So my advice, if it's affecting her to that level, despite all the measures she's taking in terms of warming her hands, I would probably say there's a role for you to speak to your GP, have some tests to look if there's anything underlying it, have your medication reviewed. We know things like medication, smoking, that sort of thing. There's things that can make symptoms worse. So again, having all those things reviewed is important. And then occasionally, people who suffer badly with it and they've had those underlying causes excluded, there is a role potentially for some medication which can help. There's no particular sort of guidelines on the use of that, but there are some things that we would use depending on the severity of people's symptoms. But obviously that has to be in discussion with GP. There are side effects to medication, so that would have to be carefully considered. But for people who get into a situation where it is severe, there might be other things that can be done, other things that can be excluded. So I would suggest, a review with your GP just to discuss that might be helpful.
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? I think I get it, but only mildly, and only in certain fingers that then are like dead fingers, and I can like hit it against stuff. I think what's helped me is making sure it's actually not my hands, but making sure that I'm really well fueled. So and I don't know if this is science based, and this is purely personal opinion. Is that I keep the fuel up, and I keep my core warm. So it's rather than actually my hands, but making sure that I'm running warmer than I want to be, really, on potential days when it could strike. So I've got like 3 or 4 layers on, and then I always wear and have a couple of glove liners on, so that plus a glove over the top as well. So if I do have to take my big warm gloves off, I never expose my fingers. And then the way I look at like kit and stuff is gels and things, I put them into bottles. So I don't have anything that I need to open. So I'm not going to like exacerbate the problem by then, once my fingers go, that I can't then open gels, I can't open packets. So I try and preempt everything by having everything open, pour my gels into little bottles. Hand warmers are a really good way as well. If you feel it coming on, you can almost offset it by those little ones that you break. I think you can get them in Decathlon, that you just squeeze and they give a little bit of warmth as well. Putting warm water in your flasks as well, so keep your chest warm, keep your core warm on a really cold day. I find using poles exacerbates them, I guess, because you've got your hands in this uprightest position as well. So interchanging, using poles and then putting them away and using your hands. That's just what's helped me. And sorry if you already do all that, if it's so bad that that's already happened.
My wife has bad Raynaud's, and it's really limiting. It's really annoying for someone who doesn't have Raynaud's, just trying to understand and be empathetic and sympathetic. All those things don't come naturally to me. But the thing, we went through the hand warmers thing and that didn't work. It took too long, but we found electric heated gloves and that worked. But then they started breaking, so we had to buy more and more expensive ones. And in the end, we settled on this pair that I think they cost £120, and they were brilliant. And so we thought, well, we've fixed this, and then obviously Nina lost them, so now we're back to square one. But they were, for a while, there was a 3-month period where that might be worth looking. And obviously, like Eddie says, that's not scientific, but it worked for Nina. But then it's a real faff charging them and then, you know, keeping them away from the kids and everything else.
I think preempting so you don't get to that point of like where they've gone, like just keeping the like right from the beginning, running that little bit hotter as well, so that the blood flow is there. Electric glove, yeah. And if you are looking like electric socks or electric glove market, as Russell found out, you need to go. They are expensive, but they're worth, they're an investment because the charge will hold. They'll last in conditions as well. Doubling
up too. I always mitts and gloves, and I'll carry spare gloves too, because if your gloves get wet, that is sad times, and it's painful. I don't know when you finish your run, I think that's when the pain kicks in and you kind of warm up, you get in the bath, the shower. I can really feel for Naomi because it is agony. You're trying to undo, you come in from a run and you can't even get your kit off. It's so frustrating because you've got little crab hands. It just can't do anything.
Trying to wash your hair like that.
Yeah,
get the
exactly.
key out.
Don't pretend you wash your hair, Trish.
I know, just one time.
Did you suffer from this at all on the old dragon's back, Trish?
I lose a feeling in my hands and feet pretty much every time I go out in winter because I've had quite bad non-freezing cold injury, so I still can't feel my feet actually, even now properly. But yeah, 100% what the guys said in terms of core, heat pads, gloves, like heat gloves. From everything I've been told by other people, it does seem to get worse as you get older. But yeah, there's nothing else to say than what the guys have already said, really.
Would you suggest any painkillers, Bex? Would that hurt in it? Would that help in any way?
Not really. The medication that is available is sort of designed to dilate the blood vessels to enhance that blood flow in certain conditions. But it when it gets colder, you can use it. But it's not great evidence for it, and obviously with side effects. But yeah, it's not a painful condition as such, except it's pain when the blood supply returns.
One thing about when it does return is raising your body temperature slowly. So when you come in from a run, you don't jump straight into a hot shower. That's quite a key thing. That's quite painful. So come in, have a cup of tea, and then have a shower maybe a bit later.
Dressing gown, fleece. Yeah. Slippers, cup of tea, good 90 minutes of sitting down until your other half goes, are you going to have a shower? We could get on with the day.
But the food and the core, that came up when we spoke to Mike and Stu ages ago on the podcast about raising your temperature, because eating then kind of gets your metabolism going and raises the heat. And yeah, keeping your core. I think you used the analogy of fell runners running up a hill with a vest on, but then gloves on too. It just didn't seem to make any sense to him. So yeah, keep that core warm, Naomi. Thanks, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and Tales from the Trails. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing a specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail essentials at www.harrierunfree.co.uk, where you can also download your free copy of How to Run an Ultra Guide. If you would like to save 10% on your purchase from Harrier, then use the code TEASE10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out the brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. The X-Mirror 2.5 layer waterproof jacket is a trail running waterproof jacket built for runners who keep moving whatever the weather. Weighing from just 236 grams, this lightweight waterproof jacket delivers serious protection without slowing you down. Perfect for long training sessions, mountain trails, ultra distance races, dog jogs, or even if you are mooching dashing around the town and the weather looks changeable. And at 94.99, it won't break the bank. Head over to www.harryrunfree.co.uk.
Have you seen on Strava that now you can? Oh, you won't because you're a tight ass. But now it gives you an example of what you need to do. You love this. This might be. It gives you an example of a session that you need to do that it feels you're lacking.
Okay.
Mine was like 14,400 meters, and I was like, scroll on.
Well, Garmin does that, doesn't it? Garmin gives you recommendations.
Thank you. Why would I ever do that? But it gave me like a thresholdy one, which I was like, oh yeah, it was like 4 by 1.5 miles. That's right up my street. Slow build with the old lady. But then it gives you the route, which it will calculate that if you're moving at the paces it sets, you will do that route. And I was like, that is clever.
Yeah. In reality, how good is that?
Well, because it does the pace that you're going to run at. So it says you will cover this route. And it was a route that I've never done, but also it was a death route. And I was like, why would I ever run down that bit of lane where people drive like maniacs?
Yeah.
But I thought that's quite good, and it gives people, I am all for one for like people having ideas of sessions and thought that's
I have started the free trial on Garmin Connect. They do a Garmin Connect Plus.
Whoa, what is that?
Yeah, my first impressions is, what is the point in, why would you pay for it? I think it's going to be $69.99 if you decide to go for it for the full year. I think you get 3D maps, a few other bits and bobs, some more metrics, which I probably wouldn't look at anyway, but they do have it.
You'd pull on those metrics if they were like positive.
Some of the metrics maybe, but it does have, if people do want to track their calories, it's got like nutrition integration now.
I'm always really mindful of that because I'm like, there's no way, unless you're putting things in a specialist system of how you know how many calories that you would eat. And
yeah. Jack Oliver up first, 58.7 miles for the week with the longest run of 12.9 miles and 11,604 feet of vert. Sensational snowy pics on Jack's Strava. He did weights, he did yoga, he went and spent some time on the bike, did some walking too. Yeah, awesome week, Jack. I think Strava must filter out the running side of things because Jack actually covered 102 miles last week. Josh Hignall is up next, 82.4 miles for the week with the longest run of 43.4 miles and total elevation of 3,035 feet. Country to capital for Josh.
Hey, classic. You need to go and do that. That is
I love the sound of that. I love the sound of that. Smoking fast, 8.5 minute miles for 43.4 miles. If you like the bling, the medal looked incredible. Last up is Annie Walters, 55.9 miles for Annie, longest run of 26.2. Oh, I wonder if that was an event or just a coincidental long run, and 5,702 feet of vert. Annie's request to follow, but yeah, 26.2 mile long run. Good vert too, over 5,000 feet. I met Annie at the 13 Valleys. So
she's the best. You want to have, she should
energy.
give out her number for positive chat. She is the best, the most positive, loveliest person.
People have been racing too. Kent Backyard Ultra, that's in Dover, hosted by our friends Hellfire Events. Huge congratulations to the standout men's performances. Last person standing was Josh Woods, covered 221 kilometres with an assist from Rob Mallet, 214 kilometres. And huge congratulations to the standout females too. Last female standing and third overall was Magdalena Cass, 181k covered, and the female assist goes to Kate Bennett, fourth overall, 174 kilometres. Two incredible runs and a massive statement on a tough course. Strength, composure and commitment right to the end. That's a proper backyard ultra performance. If you fancy a slice of that, then head over to www.hellfireevents.com. This week's Heavy Flex goes to Emma Campbell from Running Summits, who just finished the Montane Winter Sprint South. Emma attempted this last year, but unfortunately DNF'd as ground conditions last year were truly awful, and at one point she was nearly waist deep in snow. She did not give up and continued training really hard, juggling single parenting, 2 jobs and a dog, and completed the first summer Montane Sprint North. She now has gone back and completed the Winter Sprint South.
We know where this is going.
It's inevitable, isn't it? She's a brilliant coach and such an inspiration. Congratulations, Emma. Thank you. And that came from your friend Susanna. Tales from the Trails.
Tales from the Trails, marathons, bogs and bad ideas. Sometime during COVID, possibly during one of those weeks when time had completely lost all meaning, I accidentally realised I'd run a marathon every month for several months in a row. This was not part of a grand plan or a deeply thought out life goal. It was more of a, oh, apparently I've done that moment. Naturally, I decided to see how long I could keep it going. Fast forward 5 years, and at the beginning of November this year, I found myself on 59 consecutive months of running a marathon or longer. Wow. Which raised the obvious question, how do you mark your 60th month? Your 5-year Maraversary. Love it, Gary. I love that. Easy. You take yourself to the Peak District alone in November and you follow the first section of the Pennine Way from Edale, the place I secretly hoped I'll one day be standing at the start of the spine race. What followed was one of those days that delivers absolutely everything you could ask for, and several things you couldn't. I ticked off legendary names I'd only ever heard spoken in hushed tones on podcasts. Jacob's Ladder, Kinder Scout. While the Peak District did its best to remind me who was really in charge. There was Clag, there was driving rain, there was getting lost, there was sinking thigh deep into bog. There was losing a shoe in the bog. Oh, the worst. Then retrieving it, which somehow felt worse. Yeah. Whose shoe is it? Hope it's mine. The wind was so strong that at one point the waterfall appeared to be flowing upwards. I fell over twice. It wasn't quite full spine conditions. I think it probably was, but honestly, it was probably all I could cope with. My longest run so far is only 100 miles, so I've got some work to do. But I left Edale cold, soaked, slightly battered, and utterly convinced I'll be back one day to retrace those footsteps properly and take on the full spine. So that was November taken care of, which meant that when November rolled around, the question became, what on earth do you do for marathon number 61? This time, the setting was less dramatic, flat roads near home in Essex, but I decided the challenge should still hurt. Oh my God, this guy. Enter what I can only describe as a terrible idea, a 26.2 mile Royal Flush negative split. Every single mile faster than the last. No walking, no stopping, no rests. Just inching the pace up mile after mile, hoping I wouldn't misjudge it and implode spectacularly. Miles 1 to 2 passed without incident. Miles 12 to 20 started to feel spicy, but nothing prepared me for what was coming next. Accelerating in a marathon from mile 20 onwards is not something I'd ever done. Before doing it repeatedly, mile on mile, while your legs whisper dark threats of cramping, is an entirely different experience. Eventually, mile 26 arrived. My heart rate was alarmingly high, my vision was narrowing, and my legs were very much negotiating terms. Somehow I clung on, emptied the tank completely, and made absolutely sure that the final quarter mile was faster than mile 26. Then I stopped and drained every last scrap of energy I had left onto the pavement. And that's when it hit me. A seed had been sown. I'm determined to keep this monthly marathon streak alive, but I love the idea of spicing it up. If I'm going to keep doing this, each month deserves its own bad idea. So the question now is, what other ridiculous cat challenges can I take on, rather than just running a normal marathon each month? Oh my gosh. Are you asking us for that? Oh my God. I wouldn't ask us. Tom, you need to put this on the Facebook page and ask for people to come up with ideas. Laps of something horrendous.
Oh.
I've seen a lapse of a roundabout.
What would be the smallest lap that you could cope with?
You could do it indoors. Ooh.
Treadmill marathon. Oh. Well, people do these crazy ones, don't they? Like 100k on a treadmill.
I get this feeling from Tom we could suggest anything and he'd probably have a go at it as well.
When it's Christmas, though, you just have to fuel yourself on mince pies or whatever.
Mince pies, 26 mince pies, something a mile every mile.
I fancy a Greg's marathon.
Oh, yeah, plotting a route to every something.
All the different Gregs, yeah.
Yeah, making a picture. I like that.
I wanted to try and, I never ever did this, but set off super early and try and have as many McDonald's breakfasts before they stop selling breakfast. Pancakes. Oh, pancakes.
You are a dirty dog.
Oh, yeah, fueled by pancakes.
Marathon through the night. You don't seem to have done that. Something to do with the time.
So if it was the shortest day, or the longest day, sorry, so you have to start sundown, finish before sun's up. It's got some jeopardy.
Okay, Tom, pop that on Facebook and let's see, people have better ideas than us. We love your tales from the trails, your heavy flexes, your birthday shout outs. Keep them coming. Email hello@teaandtrails.com, pop tales from the trails, or whatever your subject is as the subject.
Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for bringing us home. Their website and newsletters are such a good source of knowledge, articles to read, and YouTube content to binge on too. On YouTube, you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. Precision Fuel and Hydration's handy-free online sweat test and nutrition planner will help you personalise your hydration and fueling strategy so you can perform at your best. 5.5 hours on Saturday, chugging on pH 30 gels. I had the electrolyte and carb drink mix too. I did have a few sneaky toffee crisps. Everything went down without any dramas. I did feel a little bit hungry towards the And Precision Fuel and Hydration did post something on their social media about how much fuel you should take depending on the speed and the duration. That basically works out 60 grams of carb with the gel and maybe another 10 grams of carb with the drink itself. But I think for Saltburn Trail Marathon, the Hardman with Saltburn Trail Marathon, where the effort will be a lot more than Northern Traverse, I think, probably take that to 20 minutes, a gel every 20 minutes, Eddie.
Yeah, definitely. It's everyone's individual, but I'd probably want 20 grams more of carbs on that for a higher effort. You can do that.
And I think I might go fill the soft flask with Flow Gel just so it's zero faff.
Defo.
Anyway, head over to www.precisionhydration.com and don't forget patrons get a whopping 20% off. But if you would like to try Precision Fuel and Hydration, then you are in luck. Use the code T2026 for 15% off your first purchase. Good timing for this. I asked you, what should we talk about this week? I did think my long run was stretching it a little bit.
What prompted, did you think, Eddie's already?
So yeah, how long? It does vary because if you are training for the road...
Ask the question first, because you...
Well, how long should your long run be?
People know what we're talking about. How long should your long run be? To start off with, I've put the link here for Gary, you to pop into the show notes. There was a study this year which has kind of like changed the way perhaps we've all been thinking like 10 years ago. I mean, I haven't followed this principle for quite a long time now, but it was generally the principle. Do you remember when you're coming back from injury, it's like increase your overall volume like 10%. So a study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine revealed that rapidly increasing a singles run distance by over 10% significantly spikes your injury risk. So challenging the idea that gradual mileage build up is the only factor that can spike injury risk. And I think we would all say that actually as runners that do like maybe one session a week, maybe 2 sessions a week, plus a long run. The long run, I do think as well as you get older, that the long run impacts you. It impacts me a lot. I'm a lot more tired after a long run than I am after anything else I do. Even though the intensity is so much lower, the volume is what makes me much more tired than the actual training. The key findings they found from this study was that single session spikes, the most single predictor of overuse injury isn't actually a weekly mileage, but a sudden large increase in distance within a single run. So I am really wary of both my athletes and myself is that when I'm building back up the long run, we do that really gradually and normally only in like 15-minute increments. I find that's probably enough. Once you sort of get back into like the 2.5 hours, then I find it's easier to get up to the 3 hours. The 10% rule. So while that popular 10% rule that I think some physios still churn out as well is that you increase your volume per week by 10%. Actually, this should be put into place for your long run. So just increasing your long run by 10% each week is a good injury prevention. Gary did 5.5 hours, but he's done that hundreds of times and he's been running 3 or 4 hours regularly. So don't suddenly, if your long run is normally 90 minutes to 2 hours, then suddenly go out and run 4 hours because that is a big injury risk. And I think a lot of the injury risk probably comes from actually within that long run. It's not actually the volume of the long run. It's the probably not fueling enough for that long run and then jumping back into training as you normally would without then respecting what that takes out of your body as well. Because it's real minefield, isn't it, of how long, we're both training for a 200-mile race. So like if you're training for a marathon, you'd be knocking on the door of quite a few 20, 21-mile runs as an experienced marathoner.
You just can't do that with an ultra. You can't keep ramping it up and up and up.
You can't keep ramping. So I really like to look at the overall week. The overall week volume is much more important, I think, as an athlete. We bang on about consistency, don't we, all the time? Your long run can only be as long. This is what the tagline I think we take away is from what you can recover from. If you can recover from a 3-hour run within a couple of days and still get some sessions in, great. Yeah. If you find that really tiring with what else is going on in life, your job, your family, I very rarely run over 3 hours. I don't have time. I don't feel I need to because I've been doing this endurance malarkey for 400 years now. And I just know I'll be too tired if I run over, let's say, 20 miles regularly. It would then impact me for too long now. I tend 3 hours at 3 hours 30 is kind of like good. And I think that's a lot of people find that you still get all the long run benefits of training, but you can then, as long as you're fueling well, recovery day the next day, easy day the next day, most people can be back as well.
Sometimes though the route does determine?
Hugely. Like went in the Ock Hills with Debs and we did 6 hours, but
Yeah.
it felt more like 3 hours because, as we said, we went uphill for most of it. So there was a lot of hiking. So it didn't fit. If I ran for 6 hours like flat, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah.
So being mindful of how you're looking at it as well. What do you think?
Exactly what you said, really. I did find it hard to control when you are on the trails as opposed to the road marathon. The metrics are really easy to go. Like you said, I wouldn't really go more than 21 miles. I know some people do love to do marathon distance because it makes them feel safe for marathon day. I think 5.5 hours for me on Saturday was the limit of where I could recover and kind of function as a human being, as a dad and a husband, and then train the following week. But yeah, I think, anything above 3, that satisfies me. But sometimes because I did want to recce this route, then that took me to...
You're choosing it. And I think as well, like something like the Spine and Northern Traverse, in a few weeks' time, I've got earmarked like 3 big days. So then I will binge. But my week, that will be my week. So I will do 3 big days of like 8-9 hours maybe, back to back, because you do need that for those 200 miles. I do think like that is a great training stimuli, both for physically and mentally and kit and everything, those big back-to-back long days. But they'll be strategically placed within the plan and also within the week. So you respect the recovery before, and then you have to take the hit that you're going to be wiped out then, and then question your life choices and go, how the hell am I ever going to run 3 times that distance? Oh my God.
I don't do many back-to-backs though.
No, you don't. And I wonder, maybe that could be something we do talk about, because I do think they're a great way to train. All my athletes that are training for Northern Traverse and Spine will do a couple of back-to-back, because I think they're a great way of training and running, getting that experience of running with the tired legs. If you can do a triple back-to-back, once you're quite experienced at these and you can hold quite a lot of volume, I think a triple day is really good, because that third day getting started, it sucks big time.
But you got to listen to those whispers, just because the plan says... I do okay. Just because the plan says, 3 hours, or maybe your plan gives you a mileage-based plan, if it's just not fitting...
It's got to fit your life, hasn't it? Yeah. It's got to fit. I always say it to people, like, write your plan on a computer, in your notebook, however you write your plan, but it's always in pencil, even though the typeface might be typed or it might be in ink. It's got to fit, and you've got to recover. And if you swap it to a hike, if you're not feeling the running, if you've got a niggle, if you're really super tired because you've had it, or like my icy vest, the going is just ridiculous, then just be sensible. But I know it's really hard.
You can't have a hero session, can you? Whether it's a long run or a session, and then it's just
all my sessions are heroes, because I'm a hero. Every time I do it, I go, Eddie, you're a legend. You're a legend. Yes, you are. But so think carefully about building up your long run, and remember, they don't need to be massive, but strategically place them within your plan. How many weeks out will you do like your last long run before Northern Traverse?
Well, I've got a race, haven't I? I've done this. I've entered the Punk Panther Ultra Marathon, so that's 2 weeks before I'll be doing about 30 miles.
Do it double. Yeah, I was saying that is a lot 2 weeks before, but 3 weeks before, I think you want to be, that was probably your last big effort to allow that to soak in. Gary ploughs his own furrow, as my mum would say.
I do okay.
You do great.
We have a winner. Our X Energy competition winner is Anthony Bretherton. Congratulations, Anthony. I did slip you a DM, which you've not replied to. So, check your Instagram messages, Anthony. But January's competition is supported by our friends, Phoenix Light UK. One lucky listener could win a HM55R head torch. HM55R deeds. It's got 1200 max lumen output, lightweight aluminium construction, 105 grams in total, including battery, USB-C charging port. I know it's a bit geeky, but I love a USB-C.
Anything with a USB-C, get in the house now. I love that. And then there's not 400 plugs in the kitchen with everybody charging different things, stealing. You just want go. Come on.
2.5 hours fast charge, user replaceable battery, IP67 rated. That is a flex. Dust and waterproof submersible up to 2 meters. Also also got 2 metre impact resistance. And to be in with a chance of winning, you need to pop over Instagram, like the post, tag a friend in the comments and share the post to your stories, and follow at TN Trails and at Phoenix Light UK. This competition closes at midnight on the 30th of January 2026, and the competition is for Instagram only. One winner will be contacted by direct message. Good luck.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you. We love you for just being you, out on the trails, folding your laundry, boiling up some eggs, stirring the porridge, which is never good enough, is it? Anyway, it's from a therapy session. Thanks for listening. Share the episode, share the pod, share the love. Pop over to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, or even consider becoming a 2026 Patreon. Thanks to X Miles for Precision Fuel Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, and Harrier Trail Running for sponsoring this week's show. Here are the discount codes: T10 2025 for Shocks, TNT5 for Phoenix, T2026 for Precision Fuel Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thank you to our partners, patrons too. We couldn't do this without you, and always your support.
Hope you all have a great weekend and a week. Good luck to all you Punk Panthers taking on the Green Gateways. Obviously, big love to the organisers and the volunteers too. Let the trail or tarmac rise to meet you, and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self. Breathe and believe. Keep your shield high. And if you find yourself in a submarine, don't forget to pack a tangerine. My name is Gareth Waits.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was the Tea and Trails podcast. Smashed it.